Killing me softly with her song, killing me softly. Dear Diary, ouch, my foot's falling asleep. This is part three, Part 3 of Christopher Visits Bellevue, or Christopher's First Vacation to the Homeless Shelter. Part of the reason I came, and I like to do these fucked up things, is as an investigative reporter. Right? I don't know why more. Well, that's right. There's almost no such thing as investigative reporting. You don't think 60 Minutes would say, hey, why don't we send an intern into the homeless shelter and fucking get a report? They don't do that shit. They don't investigate jack shit. And I'm curious, because curiosity is a sign of intelligence. So, I hear somebody. There's like no humans around, no security, no nothing. I mean, I came in here about like 11:30. It's possible there's more people sleeping than I thought, but so many empty rooms. I can go into all these other empty rooms. It's fucking fucked up. It's like they could house 5,000 people here if they wanted. With my fucking, especially with my fucking micro housing, my $50 a month micro housing, they could build that shit in a fucking week if they wanted to. But they don't want that, even though it's stupid. If they had half a brain, they'd say, wait, it's good for the economy, because if you're paying $50 a month, you're probably going to spend more money at the restaurants and the bars than if you're paying $900 a month in rent. That's how fucking retarded Republicans are. No logic at all. Remember that when he said the rent is too damn high, people thought he was a one-trick pony. Sorry. The rent being too damn high affects every other problem on earth. Example, did you know there's more domestic violence when there's less affordable housing? Because it forces more men and women to move in together to survive. Now, what happens when you put two of any animals together in a tiny, tiny, tiny cage? Thank you. And even the NYPD backs me up. More domestic violence than ever before, because people are living in tinier cages against their will more than ever before, thanks to 17 years of Republicans running New York City. The rent is too damn high. It creates domestic violence. Hell, when Delfino and me, I don't think ever beat me up once before we moved in together. We dated for like a year. I think we dated actually for 2 years before we moved. We dated for 2 years, then we lived together for 2 years. We dated for almost exactly 4 years. And I don't think she ever hit me once until we moved in together. And then it escalated week after week after week of just her being violent, losing her temper, losing her temper, violent, losing her temper, throwing things, smashing things, slamming doors, smashing things. I've never slammed a door in my life. Why the fuck would you ever slam a door? To show you're angry? That's retarded. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You could just yell if you really want to be angry. Slamming a door? It's like punching a wall. What kind of idiot punches a wall when they're angry? I've known a lot of people like that. Portnoy, this is crazy. One time Portnoy lost his temper with me because he became temperamental. I was playing on his musical keyboard. He starts smashing his own keyboard. Delphi, I could make up you humans if I tried. You humans are just an endless trove of insanity. Delfino, like one time Delfino was angry. And she never was angry over anything legitimate. The only time I ever did something bad to her was once I was at a Christmas party. I was supposed to meet her after the Christmas party, but they were getting me drunk. My boss was getting me. I never get to hang out with my bosses, and they were really cool. Giuliani documentary I worked on. It was only like 6 of us on staff, and we all were going for after party, our Christmas party. All guys, and it was like we were having a blast. It's like, fuck, I gotta go meet my girl. I mean, I didn't think that. I was looking forward to seeing her, but they're giving me all these free Long Island STs, went for blasts. It's like, fuck. I love Long Island STs. I can't afford these. And I blacked out. And I was like an hour, maybe more. No, I think it was more than an hour late to meet her. I was supposed to meet her for dinner at Sidewalk Cafe. And I was like over an hour late. I want to think it was maybe even 2 hours. I think she was still there waiting for me, if memory serves me right. But I mean, that's outrageous. That is, and I couldn't apologize enough. Couldn't apologize enough. I would be furious too. Now that's a legitimate reason to be angry, because I was fucking an hour or 2 hours late to meet you for dinner. That's serious shit. But every other time, she never, ever again got angry at me for a legitimate reason. Right? She asked me if she looks fat in a dress, I'm going to tell her the truth. And then she's going to get angry at me. Well, sorry, that's not a legitimate reason to get angry at me. You asked me for my fucking opinion. And you knew I was brutally honest. So fuck you. Women. Where was I? We were talking about losing your temper. I digressed on that because we were talking about shit. Oh, is this the new? This is part 3, right? Pardon me. I have to apologize to you, dear listener. I'm going to let you in on a secret that I almost shouldn't divulge, but I don't give a fuck. I got nothing to lose. I don't give a fuck. These pieces of shit, super Nazis, ruined my life. Not just the music critics ruined my life, my career. Fucking regular journalists, political journalists, all fucking lied about me. New York Times did 15 stories about me. Not once did they fact check. Not once. And almost all the articles are filled with lies and smears. Pro-government lies and smears. Imagine that. Pro-government. Maybe if Bush had done what Rudy and Bloomberg did, which was if Bush had stolen billions of tax dollars and given billions of tax dollars to the New York Times, maybe the New York Times would have been a little nicer, because Rudy and Mike stole billions of tax dollars and gave it to the New York Times, and almost everything the New York Times wrote about those two fucking super Nazis is positive, and almost all of them are not fact-checked. And almost all of them are filled with provable lies. That's the way it rolls, kids. I'm baked right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually... Oh, that was another thing. So I was approaching the metal detector. I was like, fuck, I got to go back out and drink this booze now. And I was like, why didn't I think to drink the booze? This could be a horrible experience. I might as well be fucking flying. And I was like, oh, that's right. I have half a joint on me somebody gave me for emergency use. I should have smoked it when I was in the courthouse and fucking sleeping on a wooden bench. But I didn't. I regret it looking back. But so I had half a joint for emergency purposes. And I thought, well, I'm in Bellevue. This might be the only night I'm here. I got a whole fucking castle to myself. There's no security anyways, because it says no smoking. Of course, no smoking. But there's... I mean, if somebody was stabbing me to death, nobody would even hear me. I mean, that's how sprawling. You wouldn't believe. I got a couple photographs, which I'll send out in an email. But this place is humongous. I can't do a blog. So you should do a blog about a lot of different stuff. It's like, I've done blogs, and the government makes a few phone calls, and my blogs disappear. Sheesh, you guys are naive. You think you live in a country of free speech and things like that. You're naive. Stop believing what you see on TV. Oh, yeah. So I happen to have a joint on me and a lighter. Not bad. Oh, and so I just smoked some, not realizing I was going to do a diary. I was just going to do some ukulele recordings. If I had known I was going to do a diary entry, I was going to write a diary entry. If I knew I was going to speak one, improvised, I would have not smoked the joint. Kids, use drugs responsibly. So that's why this diary entry is a little flaky, little disjointed. Went through the metal detectors, no problem. They even let me eat my pretzels. I said, I can't go with the pretzels, right? Because it says here no food and stuff like that. And they said, no, you can. I went in. It was pretty fast. Somebody asked me oh no, I had to wait. Everybody else had cards, like they were regulars, and they all just went to their rooms. Because theoretically, I could possibly stay in this room. Nobody else is using it, or any of the other rooms in this wing. I'm not kidding. It's 2 beds, 3 beds per room. Some rooms I saw had 1 bed. That's all I found on this floor. I'm told some floors there's 8 beds per room. This floor, this wing, I'm in the east wing, and it's fucking enormous. I mean, I don't think you understand how fucking enormous this is. You got long. I'm looking down a hallway right now. My hallway, there's got to be 60 beds in 30 rooms, just in this hallway. And you have to understand, it's hallways upon hallways upon hallways, winding hallways, winding hallways. Well, winding's not the best word. You understand? It's not like long hallways. It's like cavern. You could get lost 100 times in this place. It's crazy how humongous this is on the inside. It doesn't seem that big on the outside. And so I'm going to smoke the rest of this fucking joint in a moment. If you want to hear me break the law, breaking the law, come and get me, Mike Bloomberg. Hey, let's digress. For those of you who didn't get the memo, I told everybody in the 90s, the number one crime the NYPD fight, pot smoking. Nobody listened to me. They never listened to me because I always turned out to be right in the end. And then they go, man, I wish we hadn't invaded Iraq. Man, I wish we hadn't voted for Bloomberg 3 times. It turns out now Bloomberg is the number one. No human in recorded history arrested more people for smoking pot. And even Adam Lisberg, that fucking neo-Nazi at Daily News, did a piece like a month ago where he said pot is the number one arrest. I said, oh, really? That's pretty good reporting, Adam. I mean, you're only 11 years, 12, no, wait, you'd be like 15 years behind me. Not bad. Yeah, you really scooped that one, Adam. Fucking retard. But I give Adam props. That is better than not writing about it at all. People need to know where their fucking billions of tax dollars. Why is the government broke? I wonder. Well, if we have enough money to keep busting people for smoking a joint, then, man, money must be tight. It must be. The government wouldn't lie, neither would the media. And you people still believe that. Remember, everything they say is the fucking opposite of the truth. That should be your rule of thumb, okay? Because it's pretty much true. Everything they fucking say is the opposite of the truth. Right? And you don't get it. Everyone thinks Bloomberg cares about trees. He's going to plant 1 million trees. I read it in the paper. Why would he say he was going to plant trees if he wasn't going to? Just because it would make people like him? Well, why would he lie to make people like him? I can't figure that out. I'm a human. He spent hundreds of millions to cut down fucking 50,000 trees. Randall's Island, fucking East River Park, Washington Square Park, Fulton Mall. You can go on. Macomb. He eliminated an entire city park, Macomb's Park, and he violated federal law to do it. Oh, you guys don't know shit. And half this shit's been reported in the mainstream press, but they know you fucking vegetables can't remember shit. Oh my God. That's one reason why a lot of stuff does slip out in the newspapers, because the government knows you people are retards, and the corporations know, no big deal. What are the sheep going to do? Rise up? Oh yeah. Marijuana, number one crime in New York City. And Barack Obama recently said again, he said, we're not going to let you fucking states give medical marijuana. We're going to fucking keep doing. Bush arrested you fucking drug users and drug sellers, and we're going to fucking violate the Constitution, state rights too. We're going to fucking continue to bust you. Barack Obama is a fucking neo-Nazi piece of shit, right-wing scumbag. You knew that in 2004, but you fucking sleepwalk through life. I'm not smarter than you. I just use my fucking brain for things other than figuring out what I'm going to eat today. And, ooh, I have a Snickers. And figuring out, and figuring out, what am I going to wear today? Well, any one of you could solve cancer. Any one of you could cure the world's problems. The brain is an amazing fucking thing. And yet you don't fucking use it. And it's a muscle. And you're all a bunch of fucking, your brains are fucking flabby shit. And surely you must know that by now. Of course, it's always been that way, right? When I was 5 years old, I had the highest self-esteem of any human ever in history, of any age. My self-esteem when I was 5 was through the fucking roof. Everywhere I went, I was like, am I the only person in this room who's not a retard? I mean, I haven't. You can talk to people who knew me when I was 12. I am exactly the same today as when I was 12. I'm exactly the same as I was when I was 7. Hell, I even look pretty much the same. When I was 14, everyone thought I was 21. And when I was fucking 35, everybody thought I was 26. So it's weird how much I haven't developed. A lot of people think I'm brilliant today. I was this fucking brilliant when I was fucking 7. You can ask my fucking elementary school teachers. And it's not because I had any natural gift. It's because I use my brain. Actually, that's not completely fair. Part of it's heredity. My dad was very smart, and he did not raise me, so it means it came in through the genes and the DNA. I'm a natural-born skeptic. I've just never believed any of the bullshit since I was a boy. Santa was stupid bullshit. God is stupid bullshit. I said, if these people are full of shit on this stupid-ass shit, they must be full of shit with everything else. And they were full of shit with everything else, and you saw it. Pledge of Allegiance. When first time I heard that, I said, what the fuck is this crap? The Pledge of Allegiance. What the fuck? Should I do a sig hail with this? I didn't even know what the Nazis were, but that sure fucking sounded like anti-freedom. It sure reeked of forcing kids. No kid wants to do that bullshit. No kid wants to go to church. That shit is boring. That shit's anti-freedom. Kids know what freedom is. It's adults who like slavery. Kids don't want to be slaves. Adults do. Kids are smarter. Kids are more honest. Kids are better. Actually, I have an album called Never Trust Anyone Over 5. We should just kill everybody at 10. How about let's compromise? When are we going to start to realize that, man? Adults are fucking retards. And you can't deny it. When I was a little boy, I watched the adults around me, and I have a much sharper sense of detective skills. And I would watch them and go, these people don't know what the fuck they're doing. They act like they know. They act like they're in charge, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing in anything. And then when you got to be 30, I bet you realized, oh my God, I still have no fucking idea what I'm doing. That's right. You don't have any fucking idea. And when you hit 60, you're going to have no fucking idea what you're doing. Because you don't use your head. I had the answers to the world's problems when I was fucking 10. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. You can take another look at my 100 innovations for mayor. It's smarter than every other political platform in human history combined. Socrates, maybe. Well, when I finally read a little bit of Socrates last year, I was stunned. I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? This guy is fucking like me. Everything he says is shit I've said. Why didn't anybody, no one's ever compared me to Socrates. What's up with that? He said the human race were a bunch of retards. He disagreed with them about everything, and they fucking executed him. Sounds, right? They didn't respect him. I thought he was supposed to be like some highly respected dude. It's like, no, he said, fucking, I'll never get along with these fucking chimps. And how could you? That's why people always say, oh, geniuses go crazy. Well, they'd have to. Surrounded by fucktards, because they lived in a fucktard world, a fucktard world, a fucktard world. They lived in a fucktard world, fucktard world. Okay, we're at a minute, 1 hour, 2 minutes. I'm trying to do these in 20-minute intervals, even though that seems a little flappy. I mean, a little too large a chunk. But whatever. I'm splitting the difference. So, I didn't smoke the pot there. I went in and had to meet with the lady. This is not interesting, but for those of you who care about the processing, I waited. There was a guy being interviewed by a woman. I had to show her ID. She had me sign a couple forms that tell you your rights. Oh, this was good. This was exciting. While I was waiting, I didn't want them to know I had my camera on me and other stuff. I took pictures, all kinds of good shit. But on the walls were these forms from the Coalition for the Homeless and the Department of Homeless Services that said, here is the updated list of Coalition for the Homeless employees who are allowed to drop in 24 hours anytime they want without supervision by any of you guards, which is awesome. It's like the court order was like, no, the city says, oh no, we're doing a great job. And they're lying to the judges, federal judges, and all these lawsuits. And the city's gotten caught lying. Bloomberg and Giuliani are caught lying about everything. There's not one topic they got caught not lying about. Pick any category you can think of in life, and I will show you. Oh shit, I didn't finish my point about the rent is too damn high, which I gave you a couple examples. Domestic violence, right? Crime. when the rent's too damn high, crime has to increase because people can't pay the rent. Hustling has to increase because people now have to make more money to pay the rent. By having the rent be too damn high, it ruins everything. It destroys the economy. People can't go to movies now. They're going to go out to a restaurant less. They're going to buy clothing less. They're going to buy things less. You ruined the economy, Rudy and Mike, you fucking retard, Republican retards. That's a no-brainer. But Jimmy McMillan he never finished the point to its logical conclusion, which was a shame. He could have gotten a lot more votes if he didn't come off as a cartoon character. I know Jimmy, love Jimmy. Love what he does. But he was in a position where he could have done much more damage if he had said what I just told you. The rent is too damn high. It's not just because it hurts your pocket. It hurts everything. And let me give you a couple examples. And then everyone said, this guy is fucking on the money. That's why they shut me down. They didn't shut down Jimmy. They shut me down when I was on the ballot because they said, when this guy opens up his fucking mouth, conservatives fucking think he's God, and liberals think he's fucking God. This guy even fucking wins over the police. He wins over he even wins over the fucking rich. How the fuck does he do that? Fuck. I really do. I even convince the rich. Right? I could turn Bloomberg. If you got me to Bloomberg, I could persuade that asshole to stop being such a super Nazi. Because we know why he does what he does. Because he hates the world. Because he was born short. And he was born ugly, and he was born dim-witted. And so he resents everybody else. He's got this bitterness in him that you can see. I'm a sociologist. It's not hard to see. That's why he names all of his companies Bloomberg. It's his way of getting revenge against the teenagers who picked on him because he was mousy and had no personality. The fact that today he has almost no wit and personality as a 70-year-old billionaire is scandalous, but no one notices because you're all asleep. Most billionaires have a lot of personality. How could you be a billionaire without having some personality? Mike Bloomberg pulled it off because his only dedication was to money, not fun. He could have done lots of things with his money. He went into unfun businesses because that's Mike Bloomberg. He's a disgusting human being. He's not fun. He's anti-fun. He's not creative. He's anti-creative. He's everything that a human being could be incorrectly. He's almost a work of art. And you people don't fucking notice this shit. You don't name every company after yourself unless you have some serious emotional and psychological damage. And you knew he had psychological damage the first time he opened up his fucking mouth. When you heard that fucking idiot in 2001 and they'd ask him questions about policy and government or administration and he wouldn't answer questions. That was another fucking smoking gun. The guy's a fucking empty suit with no fucking brains of any fucking kind. There's never been anybody less qualified to run for office. Remember, he refused to answer questions of the press, of anyone. He wouldn't do debates. I was in a lot of debates that year, and I debated everybody else. Fucking Alan Hevesy kicked his ass. Ferretti Ferrer, that fucking empty suit. He wasn't afraid of debates. Mark Green, all of those guys. I debated a whole bunch of people, and only Mike Bloomberg. I debated Audrey Silk, fucking nutjob ex-cop, fucking cigarette-smoking worshiper from the smokers' rights group. Audrey Silk, she wasn't afraid to debate. She had opinions, and she believed in them. Mike Bloomberg stood for nothing. He ran to get richer, to steal money. His entire life had been dedicated to one thing and one thing only. Money. Not even girls. Money. You wouldn't see him riding around in a sports car, fucking trying to look hip. Money. The only thing the asshole ever cared about was money. Now, I could show you a lot of billionaires who that's not all they care about. Berlusconi is the fucking Bloomberg of Italy. But he's got personality, wit, charm, likes to get laid. He's got a lot more than an obsession with fucking money. Of course, I hate to say it, Berlusconi's not Jewish. Explain that one, Bloomberg. I mean, you're only a caricature in every single way. Example. Mike went into money. He went into the field of money. He could have been a world-class piano player. He could have chosen through millions of career choices and even gotten rich in those fields. He didn't choose law. Now, as a Jewish male, he had only a few stereotypical options. The worst ones he would have gone into, he could have gone into medicine. He'd be helping people. Or accidentally killing them, like most doctors, but you get the idea. He could have gone into a field to help others. He could have gone into law, been a defense attorney, fought for civil rights, because Jews supposedly care about civil rights. But Mike Bloomberg did a little thing that Adolf Hitler said he would. He went into finances. And Mike Bloomberg's admitted only purpose in life with his business was to make the rich richer. He didn't start his financial information services to help the middle class. He said, what's the easiest way to get rich? Make the rich richer. Because they'll do anything for you. If you make them rich, they'll make you rich. That's how it works when you got a racket going on. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. When you help the middle class, well, how's that going to make you rich? When you help the corporations, it's going to come back to you. They're going to buy a few extra Bloomberg terminals. You understand? We're going to lease even more, Mikey. We're in this together. Let me interrupt and tell you that. For those of you who don't know this yet, I've only started reporting it. That's another. But remember, there's too many Bloomberg scandals to report. Plus, they every time I do any work, they shut me down. They shut me down. They shut my blogs down. Shut me down. Shut me down. The New York Times banned me. Gothamist banned me. They all banned me, so I can't notify the public. They shut down even my email accounts. We're talking super Nazi bullshit. You don't get it. Remember, there were a lot of Germans in Nazi Germany who didn't see Jews getting beaten, didn't see Jews getting killed, because they were Germans. You don't do all that shit in public, people. You take for granted, because now you know how the story ends of World War II. But at the time, remember, people were in the exact same situation you are in right now. They didn't see any concentration camps. They didn't hear about any concentration camps. It wasn't in the newspapers. They were writing about vacuous anti-news. Just like Stalin. You want to have anti-news. You want to dumb the people down and distract the people. That's why if you stopped all journalists, the world would improve instantly. Because we couldn't have any bad politicians. We couldn't have any irresponsible or bad corporations. We couldn't have any overpaid CEOs, etc. No CEO would make over $100,000 a year if only reporters were honest. You see? I can go on and on and on. Oh, fuck. Should we do a part 4? I guess I have to. Crap. End of part 3.